Hi guys, it is June 2015. I have to get this out now. Vatican advisor says America's founding document is outmoded. Outmoded. The Declaration of Independence, it's outmoded. And he reveals the global game plan. Jeffrey Sachs, an advisor to the Vatican, also to the UN, stated that when Pope Francis visits the United States in September, he will directly challenge the American idea of God-given rights embodied in the Declaration of Independence. So for all of you who have been wondering what the Pope is going to be saying to Congress and to the United Nations, the first Pope to address Congress when he comes here in September, well, it's not only climate change. You know, that encyclical that was leaked, and I believe now he made public? You can check out on CNN the Pope's 10 Commandments on climate change. And what are they? Oh, they sound really good. Think of future generations. Yeah. Embrace alternative energy sources. Okay, sounds good. Consider pollution's effect on the poor. Yeah, that's good. Take the bus. Take the bus. Well, that's Agenda 21, right smack in your face. Take the bus. Stop using your car because you're creating global warming. That's right. The individual is destroying the planet, not corporations. The individual. Be humble. Sounds good, doesn't it? We are not God. The earth was here before us, and it has been given to us. Yeah. Don't become a slave to your phone? Okay. That's going to save the planet. All right. True wisdom is not acquired by a mere accumulation of data, which eventually leads to overload and confusion, a sort of mental pollution. Well, I actually agree with that. And you know what? You can read a whole lot of articles, and it's hard to disagree with the statements, but you have to look at the big picture. This is all about bringing in draconian laws and regulations that are going to destroy the individual, destroy individual property rights under the guise of climate change, global warming, which is an utter lie. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the United Nations, it's all based on false science. They claim there's a consensus of scientists around the world that believe that man is causing global warming, and it is a lie. And that consensus is a lie too, because more scientists actually have stated that global warming is, first of all, not even occurring, but man is not creating climate change or global warming. All right. I have many videos on my channel. And yes, if you're hearing a little bit of, I don't know, frustration in my voice, it's because this goes on endlessly. Endlessly. And how do you get through to people who just believe this horse shit? I'm sorry, but that's exactly what it is. Please do the research if you don't know what I'm talking about. Please. The global warming, climate change is all being brought about to control every individual on the planet, to bring in the New World Order, to strip us of our individual rights, to make us feel guilty for creating this global warming that's going to destroy the planet when it's all a lie. Do you ever hear any politicians, any world leaders talking about what multinational corporations are doing? Do they talk about BP? Do they talk about Exxon? Do they talk about all of these corporations who are actively, on a daily basis, actually destroying the planet? No. What do they talk about? They talk about the individual has to turn off their lights and recycle, don't waste food, Environmental responsibility can significantly affect the world around us, such as avoiding the use of plastic and paper, reducing, oh, by the way, Great Barrington, Massachusetts, outlawed plastic paper bags. Outlawed plastic paper bags. You can't find them anywhere in Great Barrington anymore. And you have to pay 10 cents if you want a paper bag. They have for sale all of the reusable bags, but if you don't have one, you got to pay 10 cents for a paper bag. Right. Separating refuge, cooking only what can reasonably be consumed, planting trees, turning off unnecessary lights. That's right. That's going to save the planet. The individual, get the individual to feel guilty for even breathing because, well, your breathing is also part of the reason why we have global warming. Well, we don't even have global warming. Global warming actually stopped, I think, 15 years ago. Everything is an utter lie. So much evidence, so many facts, mountains, mountains, mountains of evidence that it's a lie, and still you can't seem to get through to people. Okay, so yeah, I'm a little bit frustrated because I've been at this for 4.5 years, and it's amazing to me. Educate yourself. Okay, that's good, don't you think? Yeah, believe you can make a difference. Those are the 10 commandments. All right. So, also part of the encyclical is overpopulation. I am sorry, Catholics, this guy you should not be following. This guy is an incredibly evil, evil human being, Jesuit. He was put in that position to bring in the New World Order. So, I don't mean to offend any Catholics. It's not about the individual Catholics. It's about the Vatican and the leadership and the Pope. And the Pope, who is going to actually come to this country and talk about the, which is unbelievable, the idea, the American idea of God-given rights and how it's contrary to being a good global citizen. It's contrary to collectivism, communism, socialism. That's what these people are bringing in. Sachs, a special advisor to the United Nations and director of the Earth Institute at Columbia University, is a media superstar who can always be counted on to pontificate endlessly on such topics as income, inequality, and global health, this time writing in a Catholic publication, a Jesuit publication. He may have gone off his rocker, revealing the real global game plan. The United States, Sachs writes in the Jesuit publication, and I will link to it below. Please come over here and read it, because it is, as you're reading it, you'll be reading things and you'll think, well, yeah, that sounds good. That's right. That, yeah, okay. You know, our country and our American public is absolutely suffering a moral crisis, but he doesn't address the reasons why. He doesn't address a lot of the reasons why we are living this materialism and consumerism. He doesn't address the deliberate agendas that have been taking place, the public relations, the TV, the indoctrination, the inculcation, the mind control over the population. He just talks about this American idea of individualism, and it cannot lead to happiness. No. And if you read between the lines, you will read that Americans have to give up their idea of individualism for the collective good. And it's all about bringing in the New World Order. But what really upset me here is how dare he write this about libertarianism. Listen to this. In current political discourse in the United States, the unalienable rights of the individual have been transmuted into the modern doctrine of libertarianism. This doctrine not only puts individual rights on a pedestal above all others, but also actively denies any claim by society to hold individuals to account for their behavior toward others other than to respect their liberty. I've never heard a libertarian define libertarianism as that they actively deny any claim by society to hold individuals to account for their behavior towards others. Jeffrey Sachs should be held to account for that statement because it's utterly false. It is utterly false and very disturbing. But he does talk about how Americans need to give up this idea of individualism. A compelling message from Pope Francis, telling the world listening, that the path from indifference to the suffering of others can be found through the reinvigoration of the gospel virtues. And essentially, it's, for the Americans to give up this psyche of individualism. But what he's saying is we have to give up our unalienable rights, that idea that we actually have unalienable rights. It's a scary article. The United States, Sachs writes in the Jesuit publication America, is a society in thrall to the idea of unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But the urgent core of Francis's message will be to challenge this American idea by proclaiming that the path to happiness lies not solely or mainly through the defense of rights, but through the exercise of virtues, most notably justice and charity. Okay, that all sounds good, doesn't it? But what he's actually saying is to bring in this idea of global citizenship, which in effect is socialism or communism or collectivism. We have to give up our individual rights for the greater good. In these extraordinary comments, which constitute a frontal assault on the American idea of freedom and national sovereignty, Sachs has made it clear that he hopes to enlist the Vatican in a global campaign to increase the power of global or foreign-dominated organizations and movements. Sachs takes aim at the phrase, which comes from America's founding document, the United States Declaration of Independence, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that is what made us different from everybody else in the world. Not that Americans were great, but it was the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence that was great. That is why people came to this country, because they wanted freedom. And this is dying today. And the Pope is going to bring in the death knell. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope that you're all safe. And I just cannot believe what we are living today. Ciao, guys.